I'm ready when you are, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. All praise belong to Allah. May Allah's peace and blessings be on our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the prophets and messengers of Allah. I received a suggestion from you to talk more about tafsir, especially juz number 29, juz Al-Mulk, and we will try to discuss some of those surahs, inshallah, maybe all of them. Starting with Surat Al-Mulk, reflection, more of a reflection on this surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts the surah saying تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير, which could mean blessed is he in whose hand is dominion and he is over all things competent. تبارك Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using this kind of word to describe himself, or adjective to describe himself, that he is tabarak. What's tabaraka? Also suggestion, some sisters said if I can elaborate more on Arabic words so they can build up their Arabic vocabulary, inshallah. Tabaraka, what is the root? You guess that this word, any word in Arabic or in any language, has a stem somehow, a root, that from this root you have a lot of derivatives. What could be the root, the three letters that are essential in this word? Which one? Yes, baraka, ba, ra, and kaf. And what does this initially mean in Arabic? Baraka, baraka, not baraka. There is baraka with ha at the end, which usually in English comes in a baraka, but baraka, ba, ra, and kaf. Exactly. It comes initially when baraka al-ba'ir, when a camel sits down. So it refers to settling down, or something is staying. And from that very meaning comes all the derivatives of the word. It will have some shades of this meaning. Tabaraka means all the glory, blessings, kingdom, dominion belong to Allah forever. It's staying, it's not going to go nowhere. And then it's used more to refer to the dominion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he is blessed, or all of these meanings that I just give you, all the glory, all the blessings, all the good features are his forever. That's the meaning of tabarak. Blessed is the one in whose hand is the kingdom or the dominion. Kingdom in reality and position of things in reality is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Including us and our actions and our choices and this world, all belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He might delegate some of us some kind of position somehow, that you possess this at this time for this period of time. And usually the idea of imtilak, getting something, possessing something, gives you some kind of power. More you get, for example, everybody will listen to you, you will have a say in everything, even though it's kind of temporary. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this feature belongs to him and forever. It's not going to be taken from him. It's not that he acquired it, somebody gave it to him. It's his. Everything is his. Everything. He is literally the one that's, he will say in a word, وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْغَفُورُ, Al-Aziz, unbeatable. Nobody can compete with him. Nobody is up to the level to compete with him. In whose hand is the kingdom? What is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, why didn't he say, تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي لَهُ الْمُلْكِ, to him is the kingdom. Why did he say بِيَدِهِ, in his hand, or in whose hand? Al-yad huna, it's kind of a metaphor. That's usually, hand is used to refer to power and position and control. And we know for sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a hand that's not like our hand. but it's used in this context to refer to power, and he has the control of everything. So blessed, glorified forever is the one in whose hand is the kingdom, is the dominion. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. And when we talk about the hand of Allah, we will see the eye. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Quran that He has an eye, بِأَعْيُنِنَا. He will say that He has some characteristics and physical features. Those physical features, the right way to understand them is that we say, yes, He has a hand, because we have a way or a trend amongst scholars that they will just say purely it's in this context, in a context like this, and in all contexts they say he said he has a hand, or in whose hand, just to refer to the control, but he doesn't have hand. Or he has a leg or chin, as Allah said in the Quran. A group of scholars say no, it doesn't really refer to any of that, and their focus is that Allah is glorified far above that. That's one trend. Another trend that's actually not approved is that when he says hand, it is a hand, just like us. But the middle way to understand it and the right way is that we say Allah has a hand, Allah has an eye, Allah has a finger, as in the hadith, Allah laughs, Allah, all the features that He describes Himself with, but in such a way that we cannot comprehend. In the hereafter, when we see Him, we know how His hand is like. We cannot fully comprehend and understand His physical feature or those kind of dimension, because He is not like us and it's beyond our imagination. But we can understand His features in terms of Rahim. He got all ultimate level of mercy, ultimate level of forgiveness. That can be understood. Trying to also make that easy is that we use the very word hand to refer to multiple things. Yes, the first thing that will come to our mind is what is a hand that has fingers and palm and this and that, right? But you could use a hand for what else? Hand, the word hand in English. To give, okay. But physically, in Arabic, in English it's handle, but in Arabic the very word yad, the door, the handle or the thing is called yad. Some bags it doesn't have a hand anyway. If it has this thing in Arabic, it's called yad. So this is a hand. I'm trying to find what else it could have a hand in English that's not typically like this. Doorknob, in Arabic it's called yad, which is a hand as well. So a hand could be for animals. Sometimes this is the front legs, they call them hands, right? So it's different. It's a hand, but it's different than the regular hand. So a word hand, and so are all the physical features, may be used to refer to multiple things, different things. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said yad, yes, it's a hand, but it is in such a way that fits His Majesty subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't really or fully understand how it is like. That shouldn't be our focus. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. And He over everything is competent and capable. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. How many times this is repeated in the Quran? We need to reflect on وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. He is over all things competent and able and capable. We need to reflect on that at times of weakness. When we're weak, when we need something to happen, when we are not in a position to change the course of things or circumstances, we remember وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. He is capable of doing anything. Just we turn to Him knowing that He can do anything, that He can fix things, He can, guide hearts. That is something that we believe in. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ. He who created death and life. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ. So as to test you. أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. As to which of you is best indeed. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْغَفُورُ. And He is the exalted in might, the forgiving. So it is He who created death and life. Why death before life? Well, it is there before life. Before Allah creates anything, there was nothing. So it was just, everything is dead, is not there, does not exist. So death is there before this life. Wal-hayah, and he created life as well. Some, Al-Qurtubi for example, he said, it is he who خلق الموت خلقكم للموت والحياة. He said it is he who created you so as to die and then move to the real life. We are not really meant to be here. This is a transitional period, a test period, a lower life. We are actually created for life in the hereafter. And it's by our choices that we decide which destiny that we go to. Because our parents, Adam and Hawa, belong to Al-Jannah. They were created up in Al-Jannah for many purposes. One purpose or one reason they were made to reside in Jannah is to tell us that you really belong to here. And you need to come back or do your best to come back to where you belong. So he created death and life. Also, some of the scholars said he mentioned death first because if somebody got death in front of his eyes the right way, that will be the best of motivation to push this person towards success in the hereafter, to always work good, to always know that he is going to die. Just imagine that somebody is always thinking about death in the right way, again, not in the negative way, not in the phobia way, but that I am going to be returned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you think that this person can wrong somebody? Do you think this person can hurt an animal, can hurt a human being? Obviously, if death is always there in front of our eyes, we know that we are returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That will be a very good standard and a very good thing to meter and to adjust everything that we're doing. Why did he create death and life? لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, so as to test you. We are here in test. If somebody is in a test, they don't waste their time. They make sure that every second and every minute is being used. And human beings, subhanallah, even though Allah said clearly, He created you, He puts you in this life to test you. Test means He's seeing you, what you are doing. And then the person is, many human beings, most of the human beings, they don't really pay attention and they don't behave as if they are on a test already. To test you, what is the area of the test? أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. One question, one topic, one theme. Who amongst you will have the best of these? That is simple. You will be returned to Allah. You will be questioned. The purpose of this entire life that Allah created you for, that Allah created you and sits you in, is to test you. Test me in what? Who amongst you has the best of action? That's going to be revealed in the Day of Judgment, where you will have auditing for all of your life. Who amongst all of these males and females, humans and jinn and all these creatures, and who amongst them has the best of action, the best of deed? What did you do? And what are the standards of a good deeds? Because what could be good in that family is not necessarily as good according to another family or a standard of another family. Same for different states, different countries. The very standard for doing good is to do good according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sets. He sets the parameters. He said what's good and what's bad. So if a norm of a society, for example, is to to have same-sex marriage, for example, or to have relationship outside marriage, and they think it's good, there's nothing wrong with that, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it's not good, then the parameter is not by what the humans think, is by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sets, because this is how He will ask us, or the standard that He will hold us accountable on the Day of Judgment. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْغَفُورُ, and He is the Aziz, from Izzah. Azza, which is three letters, Ain, Zay, and Zay. And something, harf is mushaddad, has this shaddad, means double letter. Is from dignity. is from being rare. It refers to something. Aziz is rare. It also refers to that he is not like unreachable in terms of that nobody can get to him, nobody can overcome him. All of that is included in the word Al-Aziz. Al-Ghafur, the forgiving. So he's talking about test, but he doesn't really, even though he is capable of doing that, he will not look at all the details. He will actually be forgiving a lot of things. As far as the actions, when you look into the actions of the day of judgment, he's not going to go, but he will weigh everything, but he is Ghafoor. He will let go of a lot of things. That's obviously going to be for the believers. Al-Azizu Al-Ghafoor. He who created death and life to test you as to which of you is best indeed, and he is the exalted in might, the forgiving. Describing himself again, الذي خلق سبع سماوات طباقا, and who created 7 heavens or skies in layers. You do not see in the creation of the most merciful any inconsistency. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور. So you don't see any inconsistency in the creation of Allah. So return your vision to the sky. Do you see any breaks? One of the things that we see it coming again and again in the Quran is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is proving himself to us through his creation. He talks about himself through the creation. Here he's talking about the sky. Look at the skies, how he created them. Do you see anything wrong? Any cracks? Anything that humans would make would need at least maintenance. And it has some kind of lifetime. If they are so sure about their product, they will give you a warranty for it. But it's going to be limited somehow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation is never needs maintenance or somebody to check on. Actually, we are here to just damage it. We damage everything by the way we use it. Tafawut is in Arabic from fawt, fa which is initially referring to this space between the 2 fingers. If something is mutafawut, there is a space between them, or there's something in between them. هل ترى من تفاوت? Do you see any inconsistency in there? Like sky here looks somehow there is different. You wouldn't see that. Futur is breaks. Breaks, like inconsistency is one thing and break is one thing. Like you wouldn't see anything that you would say, like the ozone hole, for example. This is a break, but this is something that we have made. If you look at it this way, it was not like this initially. This is something that the way we misuse it or abuse it, we caused it. But initially it was not there. This could be kind of a break in there. Futur. Al-futur also refers to a shaq, a hole somehow, or cracks. If there is a hole somewhere, this is futur. Iftar, yes, which is the breakfast, because simply it's it's the first meal to makes it to your stomach, that gets into your stomach, and that this is what it refers to. So it is him who created 7 skies. Obviously, we don't know those 7 skies. We cannot even comprehend them. We just believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them because he said so, and we believe in his power. When the time of Galileo and those guys, when they first started discovering the planet, the solar system, the planets, many of the Muslim scholars of this time, they said, yes, those are the first, the 7 skies. And they got 7 at the beginning until later they discovered Neptune and Pluto, I guess. So they said those are the 7 skies. And then they figured out that that's whole the solar system. There is so many stars like sun, and that's all. The right understanding is that all of that is just within the first sky. Allah has so many. Allah has 7 layers like this of skies. But even at the level of our eyes in here, look up. Look at the sky. Do you see any problem? Do you see any cracks? Do you see any mistakes in the way they are created? You wouldn't see that. And look again, you wouldn't find anything. ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. Then return your vision twice again. Your vision will return to you humbled while it is fatigued. Like you wouldn't see any problem with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. We have certainly beautified the nearest heaven with stars and have made from them what is thrown at the devils and have prepared for them the punishment of the blaze. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this. Today I was, especially after Fajr or exactly after Fajr, as I was coming, I have my two kids with me. And if you, right after Salatul Fajr, before sunrise, look at the east, you will see the clearest star that you can see ever. So any day after Fajr, before sunrise, look at the east. That's a najm called the Shi'ra in Arabic, Shi'ra al-Yamaniyya. It is the brightest star that you can ever see. And we were just reflecting, what is it? So Allah here is saying that we have beautified the skies with those stars. And nowadays, science will tell us that this kind of little lamp in there is not but a big star, a huge star, just like the sun, or maybe way bigger than the sun, that's been sending this light at the speed of light, and it could be even dead, just explode and not there, cease to exist, but the light is still coming, and it's far. Some of those stars, it takes big number of years just to travel to it, thousands of years to get to it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all of these, and we don't usually pay attention to those unless it's you are out in the forest or on the beach or something at night, and you can see how beautiful is the sky. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we beautified the sky with those we made them like masabih. نجم الشعرى اليمني وأنه هو رب الشعرى. It's even mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Najm. وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين. One way also is that those things that are flying in the sky, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used them to hit the shayateen who are rebellious somehow. They are used for that. وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. And for those who disbelieve in their Lord is the punishment of hell, and wretched is the destination. How awful is that destination? So for the disbelievers, those who disbelieve in their Lord, even though this creation is so clear, they just deny Him because they don't see Him. They are so close-minded that they cannot see how great is Allah through His creation, and they just deny all of that. Denying all of that will cause those people to go to hell. And when they go there, إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا وَهِيَ تَفُورُ. When they are thrown into it, they hear from it a dreadful inhaling while it boils up. This is how, the sound of the hellfire. In Surah Al-Furqan, another chapter, سَمِعُوا لَهَا تَغَيُّظًا وَزَفِيرًا. When the disbelievers, they get close to the hellfire, they will hear the sound of the fire. It's cracking, it's eating each other. It's been fired for thousands of years, waiting for that day. It's one of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the huge creation of Allah. And that's, it goes by the order of Allah, and it knows that she is created, or it is created to be a punishment for the disbelievers. When hellfire sees the disbeliever, it will be like waiting for them, kind of, wants to just do what it is created for. إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا, when they are thrown in it, سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا وَهِيَ تَفُورُ. They will hear this kind of shahiq, that's made out of boiling. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Just imagine the hellfire, how it is like. Look at one of those volcanoes, which is nothing if you compare it to the hellfire. How it's, the lava is, the earth and the minerals and everything is just boiling and coming out and shooting into the sky. And a couple of years ago, the entire Europe was shut down. Nobody flies, no flights, no aircraft, nothing, just because of the ashes that were going everywhere for thousands of miles all around. And that's just one little volcano, which is just like nothing if you compare it to the hellfire. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. So imagine that, and imagine how could a human being with that flesh, with that weak body, how long can he takes it? That's why some of the righteous people, every time they think to go wrong or do something wrong, they will just get the taste of a fire. They will get to a fire, they have a candle or something, and they will just touch the fire, and they will know. It's kind of, yeah, it works as a reminder for them that if I cannot take this, then I better go right so I would not be thrown into the bigger fire. تكاد تميز من الغيظ. It almost bursts while with rage. As rage, Allah Azza wa Jalla is talking about it as something that feels. So it almost bursts with rage every time a company is thrown into it. Its keepers ask them, did there not come to you a warner? كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, really doesn't want to punish anybody, but people insist. Allah gave them the creation so clear in front of their eyes. Allah sent them messengers to talk to them clearly that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you, to warn them against this very destiny in here, but they insisted to. They went against all of these clear signs, all of these messengers, and they ended up there. So the keepers, angels, who are responsible for the hellfire, they will tell them, did there not come to you a warner? ألم يأتكم نذير؟ قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. They will say, yes, a warner had come to us, but we denied and said, Allah has not sent down anything. You are not but in great error. So they just deny, they argue with those prophets, no, you are not prophets. They denied them, and they accused them of every kind of thing. That's why they ended up there. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل. This is the key thing in here. They said, or they will say, if only we had been listening or reasoning, we would not be among the companions of the blaze. So if they really listen and comprehend, we need to listen and comprehend. This religion, those who are born Muslims or those who even accepted Islam, after a while it becomes something mechanical. Oh, we do that. No, we need to really listen and reflect and comprehend, so it gets deeper into the heart. All of these are the eyes, the hearing, all of these are just tools for the heart, inlets for the heart. The most important thing is to get it deep into the heart. So those people, they lose, and they said, the reason why we lost is that لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل, if only we listen, we had been listening or reasoning, thinking, reflecting, but they didn't do that. They just went by anything other than listening and comprehending and reasoning. If they said, if we had been listening or reasoning, we would not be amongst the companions of the place. So we need to think and reflect and put the pieces of the puzzle together. فاعترفوا بذنبهم, and they will admit their sin. فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. So it is alienation for the companions of the place. They confessed. Nobody there feel that he is there by mistake or anything. No, they know that this is what they deserve. And their only hope, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expressed in many ayat, couple of ayat in the Quran, the only wish or hope for them or wish for them is just to come back to life. If we can come back again, they will say to Allah, if you can just give us another chance, bring us back to life, this life on earth, and we will show you what we will do. So again, it's never too late for us, for whoever is alive. Let this be a warning before anybody would regret it, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have chance, we are alive, we have the chance to do deeds, to look at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to prepare something for the hereafter. So inshallah we will not end up like those disbelievers who did not listen or comprehend and who had this wish to come back to life. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moves to talk about those who made the right decision or the right choice. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. Allah. Indeed, those who fear their Lord unseen will have forgiveness and great reward. Those who have khashya to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not only fear. Khashya is mixed amount of fear, hope, and love. That's what the scholars would usually talk about. One third, khashya means one third of fear, one third of hope, and one third of love. We worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we are afraid of His punishment, because we hope that we have hopes in His mercy and His Jannah, and also because we love Him. Three of them mixed together, that's going to give you khashya. Those who have khashya to Allah, to their Lord, in the unseen, without seeing Him. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes Himself clear to us, those movies, God come, light coming from the sky, coming down to you or something, answering your calls and everything. What would be the point in faith? Nobody would have any excuse not to have faith. This is God there, it's right in front of you. You cannot reject the fact that Walmart is at 23rd Street. It's there, everybody see. You cannot argue that it's on 11th Street. Everybody would say you're crazy. If you just deny, if you don't have faith in it 100%, then there is a big problem that you have some mental issues in there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He makes Himself like physically evident to everybody, there will be no point in faith. Faith is to be able to use the tools that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, mind and qalb and aql, to get to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is so clear for those who have those. For those who have sam'a and aql, listening and comprehension. So for those who have khashya to Allah, their Lord, they will, even though they believe in Him in the unseen, they will have forgiveness and a great reward for Allah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَسِرُّوا قَوْلَكُمْ أَوْ اجْهَرُوا بِهِ. As far as your talks, being it secret or you announce it in public, Allah إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. He knows it. He knows what's even hidden deep in your chest. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, and conceal your speech or publicize it. Indeed, He is knowing of all that's within the chest or the breast. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the hidden, or everything about us. أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Does He who created not know, while He is the subtle, the acquainted? He made us. He made us. I was looking for something in interestingly enough, I like to learn more, experiences about things. So I take a pride in that. I recently rebuilt my carburetor fully. Had to take it off. Brother Zakir, I know, and Luqman are having this, and sometimes they help me. So it's amazing that how many washers in there. You just take it out. I took it out piece by piece. And I was amazed how many washers and O-rings, the carburetor in the car. It's actually in the boat this time. So you have to take it piece by piece, and so many pieces. And then I was looking for one small piece. So I had to go to somewhere. Actually, I went to so many places to find this washer, which is so tiny. And then when I went to one store, they had they had this like picture for all the details, the manual and all the details of the outboard in there. The motor is out there, and that's the washer number, whatever, and this is the name of it. So the point I'm trying to make is Yamaha in this case, they know their product. They know it in detail, and they know that this is washer number whatever, and it's used there, and it's this is I was looking for a certain screw, just one screw that I had to go 5, 6 places before I can find it. It's a special screw in there. So I found it. I found it where made in Japan in the same place that makes this kind of motor. So doesn't Allah subhanahu, He said in this ayah, doesn't He know what He has created? It is He who made us. He knows us. He knows the secrets, the details of us. All of these, physicians who might deal with the physical dimension, yes, they would get a great deal of information about this body and how it works, but they will never be able to give you all encode everything about the body or the brain, for example. They can't. And even if we do that, we're not going to get too close to the level of knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why is that? Doesn't He know what He created? أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ? Who created us? Allah. We believe in that. So He knows all the details of us. He knows what's within us. This is something that we have to, it gives us security and peace that we are always capable of contacting the Maker, the Creator, the one who knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows our ideas, our tendencies, desires, what affects us. So let's keep that in mind as we are calling on Allah or making dua to Allah or worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or thinking of Him or having faith in Him. He knows me. He knows all of our tricks and all of our secrets and all of everything. Stop here, inshallah. Take questions or comments before we conclude. Shooting stars for the devils. Well, this is something that's unseen. It just or they say, very famous thing they teach kids, starlight, starbright, star, tonight. I wish I mean, I wish I might meet this wish I wish tonight. So it's a positive thing when they see a shooting star. The positive thing because make a wish it comes true. Okay. And what is there any origin for that? Where does it come from? What is the significance of it? Maybe it's based on a Christian, whatever, that if you trace it back, could meet somewhere with the Islamic faith that a devil is being caught, which is good, positive. One of the devils, that's what it is in Islam. Shooting star is meant for a devil who went rebellious or something, and a shooting star is just catching it. How to convince them? I don't know. I mean, it's just faith. Yeah.